Hello, extremely intelligent lambs. Welcome back. So we're a year into our channel now, and I just want to make a quick update video talking about my plan for now that we're a year in and I'm getting more used to YouTube. I'm starting to come up with, based off of last year's stuff I've tested out, I came up with a schedule of what I want to do each month for a theme, and I want to hear you guys' feedback on if you guys think that I should switch months around, if you have a better idea for a month, or something like that. So without further ado, let's go for each month and I'm going to explain what my plan is. So January makes sense with the new year. This is this month and we have videos like this. We're going to have videos like my movies I'm most anticipating of 2024, movies I like the most in 2023, something like that. So it's this year and last year. That's the theme of this. It's preparing for the new year, talking about the previous year. In some years, I'm probably not going to do any videos in this year, but in some years, I might go through and react and talk about some of my older videos from the previous year and say, this is how my opinions have changed since then. For example, I have a lot of different opinions on what I did with my reviews for Peter Pan and Wendy. It's not that great of a movie, and I was getting over this feeling of, dude, this movie's not terrible, that means it must be good, and it's really not that good. So there has been some opinions that have changed a little bit since then, but for the most part, that's where I'm coming around with that. So then we go into the next month, and this is the month that I'm most iffiest about, and this might change over the years. But for right now, my plan for this is I still want to go with a little bit of the theme that is February, and the February month is the month of Valentine's Day, so I kind of want to, and I don't want to do this for long, but I'm probably gonna do this. I'm gonna do it this year. Is that month is gonna be dedicated to, I hate to use these words, but love. No, I'm not gonna do chick flicks because Hallmark movies have terrible writing, and this whole channel is about good writing, so I'm never going to make a video breaking down those movies because it would be unfair to break down a movie that is just never has. They all have the same writing and it's always terrible. So I'm never going to be doing that. But stuff like maybe putting out reviews for movies like Romeo and Juliet. Different movies like that maybe. I'm not 100% sure about this. Over the years, maybe it might change a little bit more to love is also friendship. So friendship goes in that category, stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. But for the most part, that's my plan for February, is the month when we're dealing with more love type movies. Next month is March. This is something I did last year, and so I'm going to pick up from March of last year and do it again. That's going to be foreign film mode. Last year was a lot of Tollywood movies. This year we're going to be doing probably a different theme of foreign films, maybe British films, because I live in the United States, so in that case, a British film would be a foreign film to me. It might be something like Irish films. Different stuff like that. I mean, different years might have different themes with that, but it's films that are not Hollywood films. They're made by different studios that are not a part of Hollywood. So that's February. That's March for you. Next one is April. I did this last year. I'm going to do it again. That month, as I'm going to dedicate it to Christian films. Last year, I took a couple of weeks of Holy Week and Easter Week where I only put out Christian films. And I kind of wanted to make that a whole month because for those who've been following may already know this, or those who know me personally, I am indeed a Christian and I'm very passionate about my faith. If you can see on my display behind me, the center right above my head is a statue of Christ. I am a devout Catholic, and so I want to make sure that I'm dedicating my channel to Christ. So I want to make a whole section, a whole month that's just saying, okay, not all Christian films are good, but there are Christian films that are good. And I want to review movies that are dealing with Christ, movies that are Christian based, and make sure it's clear that I am a Christian and I enjoy my films somewhat that talks about Christ, and what my heart is truly on is Christ. So I want to make sure they're dedicated a month to that. Next month is a month that makes a lot of sense. May. I want to do that as I put it down in here, murder mystery. It's just mystery month. Last year I put out a video talking about my favorite mystery movies. I'm planning to go through and review some of those movies. Maybe just go through and review all the Agatha Christie movies. Stuff like that. I mean, each year is going to be different, but I want to dedicate a month. I'm a big fan of murder mysteries and mystery movies in general, so I want to dedicate a month to talking about that genre I love so much. Next month is June. So in June, I want to make it, I did this last year, and I want to make it again this year. That's going to be War Month. I'm going to be talking about war movies. You're going to see stuff probably, hopefully this year I'll be putting out a review for 1917, one of my favorite war movies. You're probably going to get a review for stuff like Saving Private Ryan that I still haven't got to see yet. I started into it and I still haven't finished it yet. You're going to see reviews for those type of stuff in that month. Movies that are dealing with, it can be World War II. Maybe this year I'll probably make it something like You Have It, so it's World War One or something like that. That all movies are from that time period. And then you're gonna have another year where it's dealing with a different year where sometimes it's gonna be the Trojan War. Different wars that happened in different years. So you guys can look forward to in that month if you guys are fans of war movies and you guys want to hear about my thoughts on war movies. That's the month you're gonna look for that. Next month is July. It's 4th of July. It's the season of the blockbuster in my mind. So that's why I'm going to dedicate it to Blockbuster Month. Everything I put out, all the videos I'm going to put out that month, when it comes to reviews, are going to be blockbusters. It's going to, last year I did E.T., Independence Day, and movies like that. This year I'm going to do a different group of blockbuster movies that are like summer blockbusters. Great movies that are fun to watch. I will be doing that in the month of July. I feel like it's a perfect month to do that. Next one is August. So in August, I want to make it, and this comes from a friend's suggestion, I want to make that month all about animated movies, cartoons, stuff like that. So you're going to see movies that can be kids movies, they can be more adult type movies that are animated. I feel like it has a good play with the words of just animated August. I like the sound of that. I think it's a great month to do that. I want to dedicate a month to talking about animated movies. Next month is one of my favorite months of the year, and that is September. September, I want to dedicate it to superhero movies. Super September, where in some years, like last year, I didn't get a time to do as much as I wanted to, but I wanted to make it so it was all Spider-Man movies. I reviewed the first two Across the Spider-Verse movies. Then I was going to review the Amazing Spider-Man. Never got a chance to it. Probably not this year because I want to really grow my channel and get a good audience, a good understanding of YouTube before I tackle the Marvel movies, because there's a lot to go into that. And there's a lot of opinions I have about Marvel and my relationship with Marvel. But for the most part, you can look forward to that in further years. I haven't figured out yet what I'm going to do this year for Superhero Month, but maybe it's going to be the classic beginning superheroes of the original Christopher Reeve Superman, stuff like that. We'll see what happens, but that's the month of September, Super September. October, as I talked about in my reviews for Grimm, even though I'm not a big fan of horror movies, I still want to do more horror elements in October. So that's why this year I'm going to be doing season 2 of Grimm. Season 1 did not go that well yet. I'm hoping it gets picked up by people and people really jump on to watching my reviews for those, because I am obsessed with that show. I love that show, and I really want other people to love that show too, because I really like it. I really enjoy that show. So if you guys haven't yet, go check out that video, and then next fall, in October, I'm going to be putting out my reviews for season 2. And it's probably going to be the next 6 years of just doing those. Or I might take a year off of those and put in reviews for different horror-like movies. Next month is November, the season of Thanksgiving, all that stuff. And so I want to make it about history. History month. Now that kind of ties into the war stuff, but I feel like it's its own thing to itself. The war month is going to just be war movies. This month is going to be dedicated to movies that do not have to do with war. Movies that are more about history but not war. So that's what November is going to be about. I'm a big fan of history, so I can't wait to be able to get to talking about history in that month. And of course, December. December is pretty easy. And we already saw it with this last December. I'm going to continue doing that. December is the season of Christmas. And so I want to make a whole month dedicated to Christmas movies, talking about different Christmas movies. This year I talked about How the Grinch Stole Christmas, The Polar Express, Die Hard, stuff like that. The next year I'm gonna hopefully put out even more, and I can't wait for that. December is an awesome month to talk about Christmas stuff. So guys, tell me your thoughts below on this. I want to clarify that this is not going to affect what videos I'm going to be putting out for my educational videos. I'm still going to be putting out my normal type of content for my educational videos. It's not going to change based on for the month of what the theme is going to be. So sometimes it might line up, like I'm putting out a good example of like how to continue along your plot while still talking about it in the sense of this is a war movie, and so it fits in with the month. You might have some of that, but for the most part, it's not always going to line up. Sometimes, like in the Christian month, you might have it so it's a movie that's not a Christian movie that I'm talking about in my educational videos, because that's the best video, that's the best movie to line up with this topic, and it doesn't tie into the Christian thought. That's okay. Those won't be affected. Same thing with, I'm not going to change the theme of my recaps. My recaps are going to be recapping by the same old videos from my previous stuff. It's not going to change which ones I'm putting out based on the months. It's just going to be still in order of how they come out with the long form content, the recaps. So stuff like that are not going to change. YouTube Shorts are not going to be affected by the schedule for the most part. Maybe eventually I'll start putting those more into the schedule. But this year I'm just trying out each month out with different themes and seeing if it works, and maybe next year I'll change up the themes a little bit for different months, because I feel like it works better in this month than that month. So guys, tell me your thoughts below about this. I'm really hyped for this. For those who've been following this channel would know I'm a big person into planning out stuff when it comes to, when I first started this channel, I started it with 5 videos that lines up to a longer video explaining how I set up the person of Peter Wary in those videos. So I've always been someone who's thinking ahead on this channel of how can I make it so this all lines up in a special way to make it so it's a deeper story going on in this channel beyond just the videos I'm putting out. So guys, tell me your thoughts on which months you guys are most hyped for. If there's any months you're like, I feel like you could do a better theme for that month. Tell me your thoughts. If some of these themes are like, I would never watch a movie that is in this genre, and I'm getting a lot of comments that saying that, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna cut that out. Like, if there's a lot of people who say I'm not interested in hearing you talk about romance movies and stuff like that, I'm like, thank you, okay, I will cut that out. Now I don't feel like I'm gonna have to try to fit that in. I'll figure out a different theme for February, stuff like that. So tell me your thoughts below about that. If you guys haven't yet, please subscribe. This has been the Movie Night Review. Peter Wary, signing off.